Alright guys, so we're almost at the end of the process. You've done all of your animations and you're ready to drop them into Premiere. But we're not ready, we're not finished yet. What we're going to do is we need to find a way to, we need to export them all, get them all out of After Effects so we can put them into Premiere Pro. So that's what we're going to do here. There's two ways to do that, and they're different depending on the animations that you're trying to render. Essentially, this is the rule of thumb. If you're doing an overlay, that's something that needs to be what's transparent. You need to see through the layer to see what's going to be underneath it. For instance, when we were doing our overlays before and we had Squid Games underneath our overlay layer, those are the ones that you're going to want to do with export type 1. And then there's the standard export, which is just get the video out of After Effects with no transparency. It would just be a video, and anything that isn't covered in the composition will just be rendered as black. So let's start with export type 1 because that is probably the hardest one. So let's look at this animation that we did earlier in the process. It's our overlay animation, and as I said before, we want to be able to see through this black stuff so we can have B-roll and clips from movies to be shown underneath. This is nice and simple. What we're going to do is we're going to go File, Export, or you can press Command M. We're going to go Add to Render Queue. This is where we come up with our settings and our output path. Let's go Output 2, click Not Yet Specified. We're going to go to our folder that we made, Matterson Short. We're probably going to go Exports. We're going to go make a new folder, and we're going to call these Animations. And what I typically tend to do is I go New, Folder, Overlay. Beautiful. So we'll go into Overlay, we'll save here. We'll go back actually, we'll call this Overlay 1. And now this is the important bit so we can see through the layer and so it becomes transparent. We want to go click Output Module, click High Quality, and see here where it says Video Output. At the minute it says RGB. You also have an option of Alpha, and you have this option of RGB and Alpha. This is the one we want, but at the minute we can't access it. So we need to go to Format Options, go to Video Codec, go to Animation, going to press OK. Now we can access RGB and Alpha. Press OK, and that's ready to go. That's ready to be exported when you're ready. So now let's go on to Export Type 2, which is just your standard animation export type. This is the intro that we created before. I'm going to press Command M. I'm going to go Titler. I'm going to go back to Exports, Animations, New Folder, Story, Animations. And then we'll call this Titler Animation. Perfect. We're going to save that. I'm going to go to High Quality, and to be honest, you can probably just work with the standard here, but I do tend to make a few adjustments. If you export as it is, these files will be very, very, very big and they'll take up a lot of your PC space. So I tend to go into the format. I go H.264, perfect. Then I go Format Options, I go VBR 1 pass. Click that down there, and I'll probably up this from a target bit rate of 2, and I'll put a target bit rate of 8. It just makes sure we've got a bit of extra quality in there. Maybe got 10, but either way, the difference between 8 and 10 is negligible compared to the difference between a H.264 export and a QuickTime export. So press OK here, press OK, and then all we need to do now is press Render and let that do its thing. Alright then guys, so our animations are exported from After Effects. We can see them in the folder that we directed them to. So we got Overlay 1, and we got Story Animations, which was, and we got a Titler animation. We can play that, yep, that's looking good to me. There will be times where you won't actually have to export some of your animations, because exporting is a really time-consuming process. Plus, if I need to change anything now, it means I have to re-export them. So there is a function in Premiere, and it's called the dynamic link. It's an amazing feature which allows us to work between After Effects and Premiere Pro. So I could, for instance, with text animations, I could do all my work within my composition. I could drag this directly into Premiere Pro, and then if, say, I see a spelling mistake, I could go back into After Effects, change the spelling mistake, and it update in Premiere Pro. This is really useful for things like text animations, because for one, it means we don't have to export them, and two, it means, you know, we can keep working on them, and we never have to commit to the process of outputting our files. It's not so good for things like story animations or overlay animations, because it is a very CPU intensive feature of Premiere. So the more of these dynamic link you have within your timeline, the slower your render is going to be, and the longer it's going to take to export the final video in the end. But for things like text animations, which are actually quite simple, these are perfect and allow us to really streamline the whole process. So now it's just a matter of dragging and dropping these in Premiere Pro, which Alex will show you in an upcoming video. So see you on the next one, guys.